He is not doing it for the money. Hello, my friend. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer. And yesterday, I shared with you some of the juiciest bits from Kevin Federline's upcoming tell-all about his life and marriage to Britney Spears. Britney's baby daddy denies that he is doing this for the money. He says, I'm doing this now because I wanted to make sure that my children were old enough to understand what I'm doing. Everything has always been about my family. And that's what people don't realize, is that every step that I've taken has been for the benefit of my children. And my children are ready for me to tell my story. You could not have shared your story with them, I don't know, privately? I'm a very trusting person, but I don't believe him. I think he's doing this for the money, especially after his kids with Britney are now 19 and 20, and the child support has dried up. Yesterday, we talked about the knife situation. You can watch that video to be fully caught up. We also talked about K-Fed's great worry that something really bad is going to happen to Britney. And his revelation that on the night before their wedding, she was on the phone talking to Justin Timberlake, hours away from walking down the aisle. Oops, she did it. And oops, she did it again. Now we're hearing about somebody else that K-Fed did not approve of Britney and her relationship with that person. A woman. The good news is all of this info keeps being released by his publishing company. Even more incentive not to buy the book. There's no need. All the good stuff is already out there or coming out, and the latest today, in an excerpt published by USA Today, K-Fed claims that Britney cheated on him with another backup dancer. And he also gave the newspaper an interview. He tells USA Today, for 2 decades, I feel like everybody else has told my story. And now it's time for me to tell it. They were just married for 3 years. They got married 20 years ago. So this all happened a very long time ago. K-Fed explains, things happened the way they did, and I feel like staying silent was needed for my family, and so that's what I did. Explaining why he chose to sound the alarm now, quote, going back to the point of the Free Britney movement, I feel like staying silent kind of created a lot of the momentum for that because the truth wasn't out there, not the whole truth. This incident of Britney cheating with a female backup dancer happened early on in their relationship, while the two of them were on tour together in Amsterdam. Things get crazy in Amsterdam. By this point, the two of them had started dating, and Britney was on her Onyx hotel tour. She told her team that she wouldn't go to Europe without him. So he joined her on the road. But while there, he says he found Britney kissing one of her female dancers. Now, let's hear from K-Fed in his own words, with the help of whatever ghostwriter he has. Quote, it was supposed to be unforgettable. Iconic city, vibrant nightlife, and the kind of freedom you can't find anywhere else. But for me, it became unforgettable for other reasons. The night started out simple enough. We all went out, me, Britney, and some of the dancers from the tour, including Teresa, the girl who introduced us at Joseph's. The Teresa he references is Teresa Espinosa. It was one of those loose, carefree evenings where everyone was dancing, drinking, and just having a good time. We stayed out late, hitting one of the city's nightclubs until at least 1 or 2 in the morning. It felt like just another fun time on tour, a night you laugh about later. When we got back to the hotel, the group piled out of the SUV and headed inside. Britney and I went to our room, but shortly after, she said she'd be right back. At first, I didn't think much of it. The hotel floor was ours. They had booked it out for the entire tour, so everyone's rooms were nearby. But as time passed, I began to wonder what was taking so long. I was thinking maybe she was catching up with someone or handling something tour related. Eventually, I decided to check if everything was okay. I stepped into the hallway, our door still cracked, like most on the floor, because the entire floor was booked for her tour and all the dancers and everybody would just go from room to room hanging out, or in Britney's case, making out. I stepped into the hallway, our door still cracked like most on the floor, and headed toward the elevators. As I passed one of the rooms, I glanced inside and froze. There she was. Teresa was sitting on the edge of the bed. Britney stood between her legs, hands on her face, and they were blanking, going at it, full on making out. It was one of those moments that hits you so fast your brain can't even begin to process it. You just stand there stunned, not sure what's real. I didn't say a word, just stood there watching. For a second, nobody moved. Then they both looked up and saw me, and I turned and walked away. My heart was racing, but not with excitement. It was something colder, a sudden clarity. This wasn't what I signed up for. Sure, buddy. So I got the hell out of there. As soon as I got back to our room, I grabbed my suitcase and started packing. At that point, I cared about nothing else. I just wanted out. So he wants us to believe. I remember that show, Chaotic. I picked up the phone, called Fee. Oh, Fee, we love Fee. And asked her to book me the first flight back to the United States. I didn't care what time it was. I was ready to sit at the airport all night if necessary. I was done. As I finished packing, Britney came back into the room. She knew immediately, just by looking at me, that something was wrong. What's going on? She demanded, her voice laced with panic. I'm leaving, I told her, my tone cold and final. You can do whatever you want, but this isn't what I came here for. If this is how it's gonna be, I'm out. In an instant, her expression shifted from confusion to regret. She started apologizing, explaining, promising it would never happen again. She told me she didn't realize how serious I was about us, that she was overwhelmed and it had been a mistake. For a moment, I saw her vulnerability. She was desperate for me to stay, begging me. I could tell she meant it, but I was still furious, still hurt. I told her that I wasn't there for the extra blank, as I called it. I wasn't interested in a relationship that involved more than 2 people. I wasn't judging her. I was simply laying down boundaries. I wasn't going to let this set the tone for whatever we were building. Not to mention that Teresa was Marty's ex-girlfriend. Dun dun dun. I didn't think about it then, but that moment was a turning point for both of us. It was our first fight, or whatever you want to call it. I think it was the moment she realized I wasn't there for the fame or the perks. I thought this was supposed to be a memoir, not a novel, a work of fiction. I was only there for her. The fact that I was ready to walk away even after everything I had already given up to be with her. You know, like leaving his pregnant baby mama, Shar Jackson. The fact that I was ready to walk away even after everything I had already given up to be with her proved it was real. In the days that followed, something seemed to change between us. She became more intentional, more thoughtful about how we were together. It felt like we were truly starting to figure out what we meant to each other. Still, there were lingering doubts. I couldn't shake the nagging voice in my head that wondered if I had made the right choice. I was thousands of miles away from my daughter, and the life I had stepped into wasn't just fast-paced. It was relentless. Every city brought new challenges, new eyes watching us, waiting for us to falter. Her fame wasn't just hers anymore. It enveloped me too, and at times it was suffocating. There were also flashes of intense joy. I remember one afternoon in Sweden, sneaking away to a park near the hotel. We lay in the grass, made out, and talked about everything and nothing. Of course, photos of that afternoon surfaced later. But for those few hours, it was just us. Small, seemingly insignificant times like that became the foundation of our connection. They reminded me why I was there, making the madness seem suddenly manageable. More than anything, that tour opened my eyes to her world. I saw firsthand the pressures she faced, the endless demands of the industry, the constant scrutiny. When she had a few glasses of wine, she would open up and vent her frustrations with the industry, with her team, with the weight of fame. It was eye-opening and honestly a little intimidating to hear just how much she carried every day. Trust didn't come easily to her, and I wanted to be someone she could rely on. Those weeks in Europe navigating that emotional minefield together laid the foundation of our relationship. They tested us, changed us, and ultimately brought us closer together. It was during this time that I began to realize the depth of my feelings, and while the road ahead was anything but certain, I knew one thing for sure. I was falling in love with Britney's fame and money. He wrote, I was falling in love with Britney. And I would love it if you fall in love with my website. Read my website every day throughout the day. It is free and it supports me and my kids so much. Check us out at P to the E to the R to the E to the Z to the H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N, myname.com. Also, did you hear? I have thousands of glowing reviews on Cameo. It makes me so happy to make personalized videos for you all. Book one right now for yourself, for a loved one, for a colleague, a neighbor, a classmate, for whatever the occasion. Right now at cameo.com/P to the E to the R to the E to the Z to the H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N, my name. Also, if you still want to support even more, check out my merch. I've got a lot of fabulous collections, tons of different products, all available at buypopstuff.com. That's buypopstuff.com. If you enjoyed my podcast, get an exclusive episode a week on our Patreon. Sign up right now at patreon.com/myname. P to the E to the R to the E to the C to the H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N. If you watched until the end, you are a superstar. You're the 1%. Most people don't watch until the end. Thank you for your support. Hit that like button, share this video, and say money in the comments section. Say money in the comments section, because I think that's what's really motivating him. Money. Thoughts on this latest excerpt? Thoughts on their marriage? Thoughts on anything and everything? Let's discuss it all in the comments section. And remember, say money.